The biggest excuse that most people have when it comes to not investing is that they don't have enough money. Jeff, I have to wait until I have money saved before I can invest. You know what? That is wrong, and I'm gonna show you why that's wrong. I'm gonna show you how you can open an account with zero money and get started for as little as $100. Let's find out how you can do this right now. What's going on, y'all? So by far one of the most requested videos that you've been wanting me to do is to review different investment platforms, different apps. But by far the most requested of all of these is M1 Finance. Now M1 Finance, they are an investment platform that allows you to buy stocks and ETFs. But that isn't a huge shock or a huge surprise because there are already investment platforms that allow this. You can buy stocks and ETFs through Ally Financial, E-Trade, TD Ameritrade. There are even investment apps like Robinhood that already allow this. So why M1 Finance? Why are you requesting me to review it? And why am I even spending my time talking about it? And the reason is this. So with M1 Finance, you can buy stocks and you can buy ETFs and there are no transaction costs. I'm sorry, what'd you say? That's right, there are no commissions, there are no transaction costs, there are no trading fees, there are even no account fees. You can open an account with M1 Finance with nothing to get started. You can open an account with zero, and then when you make your first trade, there are no costs involved. Now that's a bit of crazy town, but that is why we are talking about M1 Finance right now. So you have to realize that I come from the old school of brokerage firms. When I first started with my brokerage firm, to buy a stock, to sell a stock, you had to pay a pretty good chunk. I can remember this was an older client. They had about $10,000 or $20,000 worth of this share of this stock. And when they wanted to sell it, even if I gave them a discount on that commission, it was like several $100s that they had to pay just to sell this stock. Now this was like 10 years ago, and maybe trading costs have come down, but I tell you what, you're not gonna open an account with any Wall Street firm where you can place a trade and they're not gonna charge you anything. Like I promise you, they're going to charge you something and it's gonna be a lot more than what you think because that's how they make their money. So to have an investment platform like M1 Finance that allows you to buy a stock, to buy an ETF, and to pay zero transaction costs, like this is huge. And this is why I wanna do this video and just talk about M1 Finance and what are some of the benefits and who is it right for and also who does it not work for, because there are some pros and cons with this investment platform. All right, so let's talk a little bit about who is M1 Finance. So M1 Finance is an investment advisory firm that originated back in 2016. So they are still a little bit newer on the block.
You got the right stuff, baby.
Even though they started back in 2016, they already have over 100 million of assets under management. So that shows that they are growing and growing rapidly. As far as what types of accounts can you open with them? So you can open up an individual account. You can open up a joint account if you have a spouse. You can open up a trust account. They also offer retirement accounts with a traditional or a Roth IRA. So whether you want to do it after tax with a trading account, with an individual account, or you can set up a Roth IRA. And you know how much I love the Roth IRA. And if you don't, you can check out my other video where I talk about how to become a Roth IRA millionaire right now. So go ahead and check that out. Other than having zero trading costs, zero trading fees, the other aspect that I love about them is that you don't have to have any money to open an account. M1 Finance will allow you to open that account. Now, they won't allow you to actually make your first investment until you have at least $100 in a taxable account. So that would be your individual, your joint, or your trust account. For the retirement accounts, they want you to have at least $500 in the traditional or Roth before you make your first investment. Either way, that is not a lot of money to get started. For anybody that wants to get started, they're not sure how to get started, if you could open an account with nothing and start trading as little as $100, then like I said at the beginning of this video, like you don't have any excuse to not invest. It's $100. Come on, you could do it. Now, another thing I like about M1 Finance is that they don't just sit on your cash. There are different investment platforms where if you open an account and you deposit your cash, it just sits there until you actually decide to make a trade. Now with M1 Finance, you're going to select your stocks, you're going to select your ETFs, so you're going to go ahead and build that portfolio. And once you have more than $10 sitting in cash, they're going to go ahead and place those trades for you. Now I'm going to show you how this looks like because I opened an account myself with $1,000. I set up a few stocks and ETF and I deposited $1,000. Within a day or maybe it's 2 business days, they place those trades and I already have ownership in those stocks, in those ETFs. So your money is going to work for you, not just sitting in cash making 0 interest. All right, so what sort of investments do they have? As I mentioned at the beginning of this video, you can buy stocks, you can buy ETFs. So any stock that is traded on the NASDAQ or the New York Stock Exchange or BATS, you're gonna have access to all of those. So all the big players, whether you wanna buy Amazon, you wanna buy Google, if you wanna buy a Vanguard ETF, you can get access to all of those on the M1 Finance platform. Now what they're not going to have are penny stocks. So anything that's traded on the pink sheet, anything that's less than $1, you're not gonna find those here. So this is not the investment platform you're trying to buy penny stocks, which you probably shouldn't be wasting your time anyway, but that's for a whole other video. So the other thing that they offer is what they call pies or investment pies. And I'll show you more of this in the walkthrough part of this video when I open the account. So the pies are basically ETF portfolios that they have built for you. So you go on up to aggressive down to conservative. On average, I think you're looking at between 7 to 9 different ETFs. Most of these are all Vanguard ETFs. The average expense ratio I think is like 0.07%. And what I like about this is that this really compares to a Betterment or a Wealthfront where if you really don't know what to buy, maybe you're not comfortable picking the stocks, if you're not comfortable picking the individual ETFs, you can just select one of these pies depending on how aggressive or how conservative you are. Now this is different than Betterment, where Betterment's going to ask you your risk profile. Like what is your timeline? When are you gonna need this money? What is this money for? So M1 Finance is not gonna have you fill out any sort of risk questionnaire or investment profile. You're basically gonna have to select the pie on your own. But if you know that you are aggressive or you're conservative, or maybe you want to be somewhere in the middle, either way, it just takes the guessing game having to choose, having to build an ETF portfolio for you. And the best part too, when you want to compare this to Betterment, is that there is no management fee to choose one of these pies. So once again, there are no trading costs. So you select this pie, there it is. There are no additional costs to have that pie rebalance whenever you want to make those changes. So once again, just putting more money back into your pocket, not having to pay fees on somebody to manage that part for you. That was good. All right, so we talked a little bit about the investments that they do have. Let's talk about the investments that they don't have. So we know they don't have penny stocks. They also don't have mutual funds. They don't have access to cryptos. You're not buying options on this platform. If you want to buy annuities, guess what? That's not going to happen here. M1's finance niche is buying and selling individual stocks and ETFs. That's it. They want to keep it simple. And the way that they can keep it simple is to offer those 2 offerings and then not charge you to make those trades. So that's their bread and butter, and that's really where they found a spot, to really dominate in that niche. And like, I don't blame them. I like the fact that you can get access to stocks and ETFs and not paying transaction costs. I'm like, M1 Finance, you do your thing. You do your thing. You no need to go into cryptos and all these other things. One other cool benefit with M1 Finance is the fact that you can buy fractional shares. So if you don't know this, if you want to buy a share of stock, and let's say this stock is Amazon, well, if you open an account with like an Ally Financial or an E-Trade, or if you go to any brick and mortar brokerage firm local to you, if you want to buy a share of any stock, then you have to have the full on dollar amount plus commissions like to buy that stock. So let's say that Amazon is trading about $1,200 a share. You have to have at least $1,200 plus the commission on top of that to be able to buy 1 share of Amazon. But with M1 Finance, they allow you to buy fractional shares. So if you only have $100 to get started, then you can buy a fraction of Amazon share. And I really think that's pretty cool because if you're buying a mutual fund, if you're buying an ETF, essentially like that is what you are buying. You're buying a fractional share. But the one thing about ETFs and mutual funds is that you really don't get to see it, unless you want to check the prospectus and see all the different holdings inside that mutual fund or ETF. But with an M1 Finance account, if you're buying fractional shares of different companies, then when you log into your account, you can see all the different shares, all the different companies that you own. And there's something I think powerful in that, being able to see what you actually own and what you're actually investing into. Another feature that M1 Finance offers is what they call dynamic rebalancing. So what this is, so if you imagine when you are buying a share of stock or an ETF, I mean, the price is going to fluctuate. So let's say, for example, that you want to buy shares of Facebook and Tesla, and you want to have 50% in Facebook and 50% in Tesla. Now, if you're not adding any new money to the portfolio, and like over time, like the prices of both those stocks are going to fluctuate. So after say 6 months, you might have 60% weight of all your money in Tesla and 40% in Facebook, just because the prices are fluctuating. Now imagine that you're adding new money to your M1 Finance account and you want to buy those equal weights in Facebook and Tesla. Now with dynamic rebalancing, that's going to allow you to buy more shares of the stock that has dropped in price and less shares of the one that has decreased to get you close to that 50-50 balance that you want. So that means you don't have to constantly try to monitor and share fractional shares of this stock or buy fractional shares of that stock to get you close to that 50-50 balance. It just takes extra work out of your hands having to sell fractional shares or buy fractional shares to get you to that 50-50 blend that you want. Once again, you're not paying to have this done for you, so let M1 Finance do their thing, have that dynamic rebalancing, take care of getting you where you want to be with your portfolio. Another common question that many people have about a platform like this is, how do they make money? I mean, if they're not charging you for account fees or commissions or trading costs, then how exactly are they profitable? I mean, they're not a nonprofit, they're not a charity, they are a business, so they have to make money. Now, one of the most common ways that they make money is by lending securities. And this is a very common practice that you'll see many of the big Wall Street firms do. But basically, anybody that's wanting to short any sort of security on the open market, M1 Finance can lend those securities that they have in their possession and then charge an interest rate on that. It's very similar how banks make money. And in fact, they're going to take your money, pay you an interest rate, and then loan that out at a higher rate. Now, another way that they make money is through margin loans. Now, this is something that they're getting ready to unleash, so it's not quite there yet. But essentially, if you open an account and you want to buy or invest on margin, well, you can borrow up to 50% of your account and then pay an interest rate for that. Now, this isn't exclusive to M1 Finance. Other investment platforms do the exact same thing. But with their model, the idea was that if we offer trading for free, we're going to increase the amount of clients that we get, the amount of customers that we get, so that we can make money off these different revenue models. And that's exactly how they've done it, because once they removed the trading costs from their investment platform, their customer base almost doubled. I don't know if it was overnight, but it was pretty quick. And basically they were just adopting to what is happening in the market. They are a disruptor like a lot of the other investment platforms are. And guess what? It's working. Another common question regarding M1 Finance is, how safe are they? Is my money protected if I open an account and invest money with them? So one thing you need to know, like, they do not offer FDIC insurance. So this is the type of insurance that you're only going to get from a bank. So you're not going to get FDIC insurance. What you are going to get is what's called SIPC insurance. So this is the type of insurance that investment platforms, brokerage firms, what they offer for their clients. So you have SIPC protection up to $500,000. $250,000 of that can be up to cash. So that is protecting you in the event that they were to go belly up or insolvent or something happened with them. But you also have to realize, though, that the investments that you are making inside the M1 Finance platform, you're not buying shares of M1 Finance. You're buying publicly traded stocks. You're buying publicly traded ETFs. So even if M1 Finance were to go insolvent, it were to go bankrupt, like, you still have access to those investments. Like, those are not directly correlated to the financial health of M1 Finance. Now I want to take you behind the scenes what it looks like to open an account with M1 Finance. Now, prior to me recording this video, I didn't do a lot of research on them, but yeah, I read a little bit on their website, but I wanted to find out, just through my own personal experience, what was it like opening an account and actually making my first investments with them. All right, so we're gonna do this from the ground up as if I've never opened an account with them, which I haven't. That's why I'm doing this video. So this is what it looks like to open an account with M1 Finance. We're gonna get started and do this together. So we are going to invest now. Set up my password. Sign up. All right, complete these 3 easy steps to set up your personalized M1 portfolio. It'll only take a few minutes. So we're going to build, create a brokerage account, and then fund the portfolio. All right, so let's continue. Welcome to M1. This is your portfolio, the simple tool you will use to manage your investments on M1. All righty. We have moderately aggressive, expert pie. You can choose slices of M1. Yeah, that's cool. You can also add any stock or ETF. I like it. You can add custom pies. Okay, let's do this. Expert pies. All right, so you got general investing, easily create a diversified portfolio and set your own personal risk tolerance. Let's take a look at these real quick, just what they look like. So you got ultra conservative. Let's see, what does an ultra aggressive look like? All right, so kind of reminds me a little bit of a betterment in essence. Looks like, okay, so here's our slices. 34% into developed markets, Vanguard ETF. We got 29% in S&P 500. So all these are our Vanguard ETFs. So this is exactly, I mean, to me, it's almost exactly like a betterment. Low cost, so we got 7 ETFs total, 2.45% dividend yield, and a 0.0% expense ratio. So if I want to add that, I could. Let's go back and see what else we got. Let's just, out of curiosity, aggressive. It's probably more the same, correct. Looks like they just added an ETF that wasn't in the other one. Not sure what that was. Probably the corporate bond ETF, since it's not as aggressive. What else we got? Expert pies. That's kind of cool. I mean, this is kind of nice. So if you don't know what you want to pick and you want to just allow them to kind of choose it for you, I mean, this is actually a great way to do it. This is actually why I like Betterment. Wealthfront is because of that. You can also see the 1, 3-year, and 5-year return. So let's look at the 5-year return on the ultra aggressive. Is it going to show me? Okay, sweet. So in the last 5 years, it's 41.55% return. That is crazy when I see that. Just because in context, stock market has been insane. For those that are watching this, if you haven't really been investing that long, especially if you haven't invested before 2008, please realize that this doesn't always look like this. The market does not always go up. We do have corrections, downturns, bear markets. So do not expect to average 41.55% over the next 5 years. I kind of hate the fact that it doesn't go out any longer than that, but anyway, at least you get a sense of what the returns could be. But do not expect that going forward. Past performance does not guarantee future results, as they like to say. So you can do the expert pies, or looks like you can choose some of your own ETFs. I'm just kind of curious which ones they got quite a few. I mean, this is a good selection. I mean, almost every ETF that you'd want. I'm just seeing what other ones they may have. Short-term futures. I don't know if they have they probably don't have inverse ETFs. They may. I'll have to look into that at another time. But stocks-wise, looks like they got quite a few. Who else? Just look at some stocks. So you could buy Visa. Let's say you wanted Under Armour. Yeah, Under Armour's there. Assuming just a lot of the big stocks. I mean, there might be some small caps that aren't in here. Probably don't do a lot with the pink sheets like penny stocks, which should be messing with that crap anyway, unless you know what you're doing. Most people don't. So, all right. Let's go ahead and escape there. So that's what I could do. I need to reset these percentage. Right now I'm at 120%. So let's just make it 20 even. All right, so save and continue. All right, you've created your portfolio. Don't worry, you can always edit and change it later. We'll now sign you up for an M1 investment account by asking you a few quick questions. All right, continue. For this sake, so here's The options, individual investing. So this is if you're not married, if you just want to set up an individual account. If you have a spouse, you might want to set up a joint account. Retirement. So now we're looking at Roth IRAs, traditional IRAs. If you watch any of my other videos, I talk a lot about the Roth IRA. You can roll over an old 401k into here. Trust account. That's more rare, but something you could do. Just for the sake, I'm going to just open up an individual account. All right. I will blur this screen so you do not see where I live. Also saying that for my editor to make sure that we block that out. And then also my social security number. Probably don't need to see that. So this will also be blurred out. We will now ask to provide some insight on your financial situation and investment style. This is the Know Your Customer rule, which I did with all my clients. What's your approximate annual income? What's your approximate annual or approximate net worth? What is your approximate liquid net worth? How much experience do you have investing? Extensive. What is your tolerance to short-term swings in the market? I have a very high tolerance. How long do you plan on holding your investments? We're going to say long-term. How important is liquidity to you? Not important. So we're going to review and submit. Net worth, liquid, extensive, blah, blah, blah. Good to go. All these links, if you want to read all this stuff, you sure can. And now we're going to hit submit. Now we get to fund our portfolio. So here, this is what I love about any of these online brokers. If you have a bigger bank, sometimes regional banks don't work well with this. I know like my last bank when we moved from Illinois, like it typically didn't work with this. We now work with US Bank. All right, so typically just click that if your bank is there. I'm just curious real quick. So our old regional bank was Banterra. Yeah, I didn't think so. So that one does not exist. But just type in BA. I mean, you got Bastille, Boston, First National Bank of, I mean, these are some banks I'm really not familiar with. So unless it's like a very small regional bank like the one I used to be with, it's not there. As I mentioned, though, we are with US Bank. So let's select that. Okay. So now you would just log in to your bank account if it's here. Once again, we're going to blur this out so you not see how I log in. Hopefully I can remember my password. All right, so we got the account verified. Should be good to go. And awesome. We'll just do this later. So if I do this later, all right, so let's get logged back in. So now you see some of the challenges, but so typically if you can't sync it up that way, I'm sure I'll be able to enter in my routing number and my bank account number, and they might do one of those things where they do like a small deposit into your account and then you verify and then you transfer the money in. And that's how we do it. All right. So man, I mean, that's for the most part how easy it is. Hopefully I thought it'd be a little bit easier just getting that authenticated. Just being totally transparent, I had an issue with one of the security questions because my wife had set it up and she couldn't remember exactly what the answer was. And it is case sensitive, so keep that in mind. Not so much with M1 Finance, more with your personal bank, so if you're doing online banking. But let me play with this a little bit and let me see if I have any more to share, but we'll definitely close this video out. All right, I lied. So I play with this a little bit. And I was able to go here and then I was able to add my account. I did the exact same process that should have worked. It did work. I put in a request to transfer in $1,000. You can do so a one-time transaction, or you can set up a reoccurring if you want. So here's the upcoming transaction. Looks like it is taking place today. And yeah, you can see the amount here. One time. I'm assuming it takes a day or two for that to transfer over. So once that money comes in, then I'll be able to invest. All right, so that was me opening my M1 Finance account. And then as I mentioned earlier in this video, I think it was like 2 business days after I opened the account, you know, the money was invested. The money, I bought the shares of Google and Amazon and the Vanguard ETF. So all that money got invested pretty quickly. And I really love the investment app. I mean, it allows you to just review your accounts to see what's going on. Obviously, of course, today I opened my account. A few days later, the market takes a dive. So right now, you know, my portfolio is down. Not stressing yet because obviously investment is a long-term game, so not freaking out there. All right, so let's now answer the questions like who is M1 Finance for and who is M1 Finance not for? Well, let's first start like who is M1 Finance not for? Obviously, if you want to buy mutual funds, if you want to buy crypto, if you want to buy options, M1 Finance is not an investment platform for you because you don't have access to any of these. M1 Finance also isn't really suitable for short-term traders or day traders. You know, they have some decent tools, but they don't have a lot of the charting tools, resources that you would need to track, you know, all the different stocks that you want to make. Plus, with them offering fractional shares, when you actually execute trades with them, they're not going to happen immediately like they would if you were with a different investment platform. So if you're trying to like execute a certain price and exact time, you know, M1 Finance really isn't the best platform for that. There are better platforms for day traders. So who is M1 Finance for? And really, this is why I love them, because anybody that wants to start investing, I mean, you can open an account with nothing and make your first trade with as little as $100. And the fact that they offer fractional shares, I love the fact that you can build a stock portfolio with fractional shares. I mean, that's just awesome. You don't see that offered really in a lot of different places. And the other aspect I like about them is with their investment pies. You know, if you're not comfortable choosing individual stocks or individual ETFs, you can choose one of the investment pies and buy one of those different models. You know, the most common reason I hear that people don't invest is because they don't know what to buy. They don't know what to invest into. And this is just removing one of those objections, one of those stumbling blocks from keeping you to invest, because you can open an account, fund it with $100 and pick one of the investment pies. You're done. You're invested now. Like, you're getting experience as an investor in the stock market. And that's why I love this platform. All right, as you can see, there are definitely a lot of pros why M1 Finance is a good option for anybody that wants to become an investor in the market. Now, if you're interested in opening an account, I'll have a few links in the description below. One link is an affiliate link. So if you do click on that link, I do get paid a small commission for opening an account with them. The other link is a more detailed blog post that's living on my blog right now. If you want to know more about M1 Finance, you can read more about it there. So I'll have a link to that blog post in the description as well. All right, that's it. That's my review on M1 Finance. You've been asking me to do it. I finally delivered. If you've opened an account with M1 Finance, I want to know, what has your experience been? Now, if you haven't opened one yet and you still have some questions, I'm curious, you know, what's keeping you from opening your first investment account with them? Let me know in the comments below, and be sure to get your questions answered so we can get you investing right now. Until next time, y'all, this is Jeff Rose reminding you that it's your money, it's your life, and only you can make it awesome. Until next time, peace.